Hello everyone and welcome to the Rational Independent. Today we're going to take a shift in directions in the format of the video and we're going to see how it works for us. For better or for worse, we have to talk about the Trump arraignment. NBC News has an article that has 50 some odd thousand votes. It's as good as a representation as any. This is the news of the day. Trump pleads not guilty in federal classified documents case. It's a pretty typical rundown of the facts, nothing really extraordinary, as long as you're willing to take it from a leftist bent. But I found 2 or 3 points that I wanted to pull out and address. First, we have the idea of precedent. It is a long-running precedent in this country since its inception for the party in power to pardon or decline to prosecute political opponents. And the purpose of that is to put the republic above all, to put the republic above recrimination, to say that we are willing for those who are putting themselves in the thick of leading this nation or putting their reputations on the line or politicking, campaigning, etc., that they must be handled with care. And the reason for that is because it's the easiest thing in the world, once you're in power, to use the levers of power to cement the hold that your party has and to use those levers of power to prosecute your enemies. When Trump was campaigning and Hillary Clinton came up, there were many chants of lock her up. And Trump smiled and laughed and went along with it. And there's an understandable sentiment for those who are less politically savvy to say, yeah, Hillary Clinton should have been chased down and put in prison. She broke federal law. I'm sophisticated or not, I'm kind of in line with that. That didn't happen. When President Trump was president and for 4 years had control of the levers of power that run the criminal justice system in America on the federal level, there were no prosecutions of Hillary Clinton. Yet, he always played with the idea that she should be prosecuted, that she should be brought down for her crimes. Is it any surprise when you present tacit support for violating a norm and going after a political opponent? Is it really that surprising when someone who's your opponent, someone who's an ally of the person that you wanted to go after, comes after you? It's a game of one-upmanship. Is it really such a surprise that now that President Biden is going after President Trump is vowing, and in his own words from the article, now that the seal is broken, Trump wrote in all capital letters on Truth Social earlier in the day, I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the U.S., Joe Biden. Now, President Trump is saying, put me back in power, and I'll really go after my enemies. This doesn't lead anywhere good. This is a game of musical chairs that leads to civil war. This is a ticking time bomb, like we were talking about the other night, that has a very short fuse. This is one of the reasons I was never a huge fan of President Trump. He is an amazing fighter for the right, and he's willing to be ridiculously defiant to the machine of the left. For that, I will always love him. But he is that motivated because he makes it personal. And for that, I will always hold reservations for him as a candidate. In many ways, you cannot make politics personal, or you are on the road to tyranny, one way or the other. The second thing I wanted to point out, the indictment said disclosure of some of the document's contents could put at risk the national security of the United States, foreign relations, the safety of the United States military and human sources, and the continued viability of sensitive intelligence collection methods. That's their quote. That's their point. They're saying that his carelessness in storing these documents put America at risk. You can put that forth as an argument, that's fine. But there are two things that run counter to that argument. If you really believe that this is a serious issue, which I think it is a serious issue, you have to also go after other actors who misbehave with classified documents. You have to be willing to enforce the law that is on the books. You have to go after Pence, because he had some documents that he wasn't supposed to have. You have to go after President Biden. Maybe even impeach him for it because he's a sitting president, and then prosecute him afterwards. You have to go after Hillary Clinton. You have to go after Obama. You have to go after Clinton, President Clinton. You have to go after everyone who breaks the law, or there is no law. That's just how it works. Now, in comparison between President Trump and some of his political opponents who have misbehaved with classified documents, there's one element to it as far as how much he should be trusted with these documents. And that element is simply this: the Constitution creates provision for who can be trusted with America's secrets. And that provision is electoral. In other words, President Trump gained sole plenary power, essentially, over the confidential secrets of the United States of America by virtue of being elected president. In other words, he didn't need to take a background check. He didn't need to jump through a bureaucrat's hoops. He was elected. Therefore, he's qualified. Therefore, he's trusted. Maybe that trust is misplaced, but the remedy for that trust is electoral, not criminal. Last quick note, Watanabe was a co-defendant in all this and was arraigned along with President Trump. I guess he was an aide of some sort. Perhaps he did some sneaky stuff, but from what I can gather, he pretty much was an aide. President Trump said, hey, I want these boxes not in this room, I want them over in this room. And Watanabe moved the boxes. But the prosecution has said, perfect, we have two people. One person told someone else what to do. That's conspiracy. Let's add a bunch of conspiracy charges to the indictment. It's a flippin' clown show. All right, trying to keep it briefer and more on point. Talk to you tomorrow. Good luck out there.